Hi everybody! I got this amazing question from a mom yesterday, and she really liked my answer and she wanted me to put it in a video, so I'm excited to share it with you. The question is, what do you do when your child seems to be stuck in Hulk mode? So you may have seen this kind of thing before, where everything seems to be going well. You know, there's food in the fridge, there's a roof overhead, there's no crisis that you can see, but every 30 seconds you're hearing some kind of like or crash, or you're kind of trying to respond to these like outbursts of anger, and you say, hey, what's wrong, are you okay, and things go flying across the room. Or it's a little bit lower key, but it just seems to be so constant. Every little thing just seems to have like a big reaction, or an overwhelming kind of just furious roar. There aren't really very many good answers that you can come up with on the spot. And what this mom was sharing with me was she's tried the sort of advice that she got from other people, like, well, try discipline. Oh, it's not okay to throw the chair. It's not okay to hit your brother. You need to go to your room and calm down. But as you'll probably recognize, when your child is in this very stressed out, furious state, the calm down is not an easy thing to do. So even when they're alone, you get banging on the door, you get screaming. Even when they tried ignoring, it just seemed to take 45 minutes to simmer things down. So I was so glad she asked me, because actually I've been there and I didn't really understand what was going on. But what I noticed was that there was a whole bunch of different emotions that might be hiding under one big angry response. So I wanted to try to figure out what is under all of that. It all looks the same. It all sounds like, ah! But maybe there's a few different things going on. So I asked myself, what is bugging my kid? And then I asked him. I said, and he told me I could share this with you. What is your favorite bug? And he said, stag beetle. And you know me, I like to draw. So I grabbed this book that I found at the dollar store, and I drew a beetle on it. Now, if you don't feel like doing some elaborate pen and ink, that's fine. If you want one of these, you could actually just go to the dollar store and get like some bug stickers and put them on. Or if your child doesn't like bugs, that's fine. The whole idea is we're going to work together, and actually I'm going to try to notice what's bothering you. So how about this? Whenever something is bothering you, instead of having a fight about it, the only thing we're going to focus on is you tell me, and I'm going to put it in this book. Okay? So when we started this, we were having a lot of struggles, and it just seemed like it was taking up all of our time. So the first time we started writing this, here's some examples. Wanting a podcast instead of music. Not being able to hear the music. Brother was too close. Lego train was missing a piece. Waiting for his friend to come. Lego pieces don't fit together. When his brother played with his toy. When mom said no more screens. And these are hard to avoid. I actually made some little notes to myself to try to just mark how bad it was. You can see there's a big circle that's colored in black when his brother played with his toy. Like that, apparently he just went off the deep end there. So why does this help? It starts to help right away, because what it does is this. Instead of responding with my, voice of authority, hey, that's not an appropriate response, that's not acceptable, you can't behave that way, or you're gonna, become this out of control person, you have to get a grip. Rather than giving him expectations, my first priority was just to figure out, is there a reason? Like in your head, what seems to be the problem? What are you focusing on right now? It just gave me something to do other than criticize or emotionally react on my own. Because obviously moms have an emotional reaction when their kids do. Sometimes it's sympathy, but often when kids are angry, Ross Greene says it really nicely. He says, kids who act out with aggression and anger and nasty words, those kids are unlucky. They are unlucky because they are having the same feelings as the kid who's crying, or the kid who's hitting himself in the head, or the kid who just goes alone in his room and closes the door. But we respond differently to those kids. We respond differently because the behavior is offensive. It stresses us out. So even though those kids might be doing their best in a tough situation, the way they respond makes it hard for us to respond. So we kind of redirect. We start with the book and we make this list. Then, on the other side, I made a list of the things that worked and the things that didn't work. This was really helpful for me, but I think it was also helpful for my child because we could talk about it afterwards. So, for example, on this day, here's a list of things that I wrote did not work. Talking, going to his room, wrecking things, hitting people, saying mean things, eating cookies, getting help, being alone, reading a book. Okay, that's very depressing. But what did work? I had to make sure that I was recording those things. So what did work? This is unfortunate. Mom got mad. That actually caused a change in his behavior. But doing yoga also worked. Doing superhero exercises. I'll actually add a link to the book that he's talking about. It's from Dana Abraham. So I made those notes to myself because I wanted to come back to them. Sometimes the day goes by so quick and something actually works, and then the next situation that comes up, we're not in detective mode. We're just always responding. So this book kind of helps you slow down a little bit. So the next day, sometimes it's little things. So the first thing was when my brother comes downstairs in the morning, turning off the iPad, not getting a t-shirt with no sleeves, having a stick taken away, sharing Smarties with brother, leaving the science center, waiting for a turn on the climbing wall. This was a frustrating day, but we got to write down some things that actually worked. What didn't work? Trapping, arguing, or grabbing. What did work? Going outside. I had this weird idea once about the peaceful post. It lasted like once and then it never worked again. Doing yoga with the family, waiting worked, and eating pizza worked. So this kind of gave us hope. And actually you can see after a little while, my son started to write these things down himself. He wrote that his brother had told him stop on this day. And also he found no banana pancakes when he wanted them. What started to happen as we did this book together is that he knew what I wanted to hear. So instead of going, ah, and me having to go through the, hey, what's going on? He was able to come with me much faster and articulate that. So that was a nice shift. The other thing that I started to see, because I was responding in a softer way, instead of anger, I started to see tears. And this was amazing for us as a family. When someone is crying, what do you want to do? You just want to go and give them a hug and speak softly to them. And of course that is going to help them calm down way faster than when somebody's got their fists coming at your face. So this mindset shift, this focus on the triggers and kind of analyzing the consequences was a game changer for our family. Do we still have irritable moments? Yes, but we don't have anywhere near that level of Hulk mode that we used to. And when I look at this book, there's only 5 days of dates in it. This is not something that we had to do for days and days and days. It was just enough to sort of break the pattern. So I'm going to send this to the mom who asked for it, and I hope that you all loved it too. Let me know if you want me to make you your own bug book, if you want me to talk to you about some of the hard things that you're noticing. Yeah, let's put our thinking caps on and ask some of those questions so that we can respond with connection instead of our own fear and worry. Okay, anyway, if you have any questions, please shoot them at me. I'd love to answer them. Okay, bye.